you guys just a chill chat about what is happening on the markets and some exciting news because there's a lot of bets that Bitcoin is going to $1 million. I've seen this both on Western media. We saw Bai G, which I can't pronounce his Twitter name, but he's a very prominent investor and he's betting big. He's betting Bitcoin is gonna go to $1 million in 90 days. I've also seen that on the Chinese media too. They've been saying 100万美刀, 1 million US dollars. That is coming up. So there's a lot of excitement on this front right now. And all of a sudden we're reactivating because of what is happening on the banking front. The banks are falling one by one by one by one by one. Last week it was Silvergate, Signature Bank, then Silicon Valley Bank. This week we have Credit Suisse. It just doesn't stop. It's endless turmoil in the banking sector, and that's pushing people straight to Bitcoin. It's funny because I messaged my banker this morning, and he was like, "I'm like, it's funny, Bitcoin's going up." And he's like, "Yeah, what is happening in the banking sector is seriously eroding trust in traditional finance." And my God, it's not just about erosion of trust. It's a big towering inferno what is happening on the traditional banking sector because it's not just to do with the banks this time, but it's also to do with how the economy dealt with COVID. COVID, okay, now it's gone, but COVID caused a huge amount of money to be printed into the markets. And it also caused an unprecedented change in how we dealt with new money. We had interest rate at very low levels for a long time, and we constantly press the print button to print money. And now the Feds can't keep that under control. The only way they can control it is by raising interest rates, and that is killing the banks. And all of this is fundamentally problematic, but filled with backstabbing and lies. And that is the problem. The banking sector is filled with that. And this is the fuel that is going to propel Bitcoin forward. So we'll look at everything. We're going to have a deep analysis into what is happening with Credit Suisse and what's going on there. We're going to take a deep analysis of what's happening to Bitcoin as well, Bitcoin and Ethereum markets. This time it's totally different, I would say. Bitcoin and Ethereum both pushing up aggressively in the past few weeks, and this is one of the huge week-long 7-day all-time high, 7-day largest increases in a long period of time. We've also crossed the 200-week moving average for Bitcoin, so that means we're in very bullish territory right now. The bears have been purged, and now the optimism is up. Finally, of course, we have a look at what's happening on the markets. The altcoins this time, what's very different is that altcoins are not bowing down to Bitcoin. Usually that's the case. When Bitcoin rallies, sometimes Ethereum rallies, but almost always the altcoins get crushed by the power and force of Bitcoin. But this time it's not. This time it's mutual growth. This time I've seen altcoins popping left, right, and center in this market as well, signifying that there is a change of momentum and change in ways and investors deal with the market. So welcome back to the live stream, everyone. We're going to cover everything in today's live stream and more. We're going to bring on some guests also to have deep dive coverages. So make sure you hit up the like button. It really does help the channel grow. And want to say hi to everyone. Guys, I'm trying to make this a regular live stream for us here. So if you guys enjoy live streams like this, tell me where you are. Tell me when you want these live streams. This is traditionally a good time for me. I did not plan to stream today, to be honest, but I realized that we can't hold this back. We cannot hold back from live streaming, guys, because just the amount of news and the amount of dominoes are falling on this market is incredible. So great to see Brandon Smith, great to see Peak Indicator, great to see you, Mass Wiley, great to see you, Angela Wang, Ben Chen, Real, Crypto Graham, who never sleeps. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to this channel. So let me fix my mic as well. There's a slight angle problem on my mic. All right, I'm gonna position this so it points towards me. Okay. All right, cover yours, guys. Cover yours. Make sure you guys are okay. So, tell me if the audio is good. Tell me if it's fine. I am trying my best to adjust the mic so we're in perfect position. And tell me if the scenes are good. I'm gonna switch over to so let's get started. I also have an intro video for you to play whilst we get started here. So let's get started with that. Let's go. This episode is brought to you by you guys. So I've been working on this for 6 years, and you guys have supported me all this way through. I really, really appreciate everything. And I took a good look at what we're doing on this channel, and I was like, we should do more. And of course, we're adding more to the team. So let's take a look at who we have. So we got Ronald. He's working super hard.
Hello.
How are you doing, man? What are you working on?
I'm working on airdrops.
Airdrops. What's the hottest one today?
ZK Sync, Arbitrum.
Now you know, right? Because I've been
Yeah.
asking him like nonstop every day.
Yeah.
Now. Like, what's the hottest one? We also have Natalie there. She's gonna do a lot of news segments. So let's see. I think she's dying. Yo, Nat. Hi. Do you want to say hi to camera?
Hi.
Also, look at this amazing mess. This is what we don't show you guys. Sorry, Nat.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
Nat. How's everything?
It's good. Just
It's
working on the USDC DPEG. Long-term implications, best and worst case scenarios.
We got Nathan here. Do you want to say hi, Nathan?
I'm producing, I'm directing. Oh,
You're
30 is
doing
behind me. Let's go.
Nice.
Just making stuff for you guys. We want to make more high quality stuff, taking the filmmaking back into YouTube. So stay tuned.
So, guys, if you guys like the content here, make sure you're subscribed to this content. Just hitting subscribe button really helps. Notification bell if you guys want to be notified, especially of the live streams. Also, we have the website boxmining.com. Ron's working super hard on that. We have a newsletter coming up as well. So make sure you stay tuned. Okay, so we fixed audio. Okay, that's great. I actually put it on mute, so this is great. Okay, so we have to do the whole segment again. That's gonna be great. Okay, sorry guys. So apologies, I didn't see the stream, but the audio is broken, so there's no sound. So all right, so we're back in the studio. Let's do this part again. This is gonna be great. Deep breaths. All right, so yeah, it turns out the audio was off just now because I was playing on mute. But anyways, guys, sorry, apologies. Whilst we are reconfiguring our brains to say everything again, it's gonna be tedious. But do smash up the likes. I really appreciate it. It really does help the channel. So let's first get into it. Okay, so this is Natalie. So Natalie's
Hi.
been researching for a week on Credit Suisse.
Swiss Cheese Bank.
So it's got a lot of holes in it.
Yes, a lot of holes.
And we're essentially experiencing okay, so let's go through the facts again. So let's go back. Let's go through and tell you. I guess you have to go through again and tell everyone what's happening with the UBS emergency rescue
Yes.
of Credit Suisse Bank.
So on Sunday evening, we all heard a shocking news, and that's the two banks, UBS and Credit Suisse, had an emergency talk with the country's financial regulators, and the decision has been made, and it's that UBS will be acquiring Credit Suisse. And the reason for that apparently is that they want to restore the confidence of the financial markets and they want to manage risks to the economy. But obviously, that's just a nice way of saying that Credit Suisse is fucked. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can definitely swear on this channel. It's fucked. Yeah, so it's one of those hard things about dissecting formal speech, right? Because I mean, look, we get news from BBC, we get news from Financial Times at times, and they're like, oh, let's restore confidence in the financial system. Basically, that's never what you want to hear. You know, you wake up in the morning, it's like banks want to restore confidence in the financial system. Do not fear, guys. Do not fear. Banks are restoring confidence in the financial system. I'm like,
Time to panic.
sell, withdraw. But that's exactly what's happening here. And I think this is the fastest I've seen banks move, pretty much. Because like normally if you think about these big rescue packages, they take a while. If the situation wasn't dire, it would take a while. Right? And the speed at which this is happening, which is 5 hours ago, this is super fast. I mean, we see in crypto news that Justin Sun wanted to buy this. Binance wanted to buy this, but nah. Regulators like no. UBS can buy this, right? The Scottish can come to save the day. So this is a dire situation. This is a very, very dire situation, and they're trying as hard as they can to control this damage that is being dealt to the financial system and the confidence that's eroding. Now, we also have as well, at the same time, did you want to talk a little bit more about this? Or how was the deal? Is it a good deal or a bad deal?
It was very cheap deal.
That's a cheap deal.
It was a cheap deal.
That's a bad deal. Trump would not approve.
Yes.
Okay.
So the final deal to acquire CS by UBS was just 3.25 billion, or 0.76 per share, which means like the shareholders for CS will receive 1 share of UBS for 22 or around 23 shares of CS, which is
Not very good.
yeah.
And then there was another something that went to zero. Let's talk
Oh
about
yes. So part of this deal between the banks was that the Swiss financial regulator FINMA actually ordered that 16 billion franc of CS's additional Tier 1 bonds, which is AT1, which is a very risky class of bank debt to be written down to zero.
Right. So this is like worse than Bitcoin, guys. All right. They've been saying Bitcoin will go down to zero for like 10 years, but now, yeah. Let's just write. What is this? So how much is AT1 bonds?
Yes.
So that's being written down to zero. So very likely what happened over the weekend is they just opened up the books and then they're in full damage control mode. Right, and it's very likely that a lot of this cannot be very well contained, and
Like also a nightmare because the bondholders are actually having heavier losses than shareholders of CS. The bondholders of AT1.
so they're trying to share bank. But I guess it's a situation where they're just like, you know what, scrap this. It's SOS, right? Whoever offers us more money, like regulators are saying, whoever offers us more money can get saved, and the shareholders obviously have more money than bondholders at this point, right? Because they have more sway. So whoever has more sway, they get rescued and bailed out first. But this is kind of crazy because, you know, on mainstream media, they're avoiding the use of the word bailout, right? They're avoiding the use of the word bailout, but this is pretty much fact.
Yes.
Pretty much. So we've seen backstopping being used, the word backstop being used, and pretty much the government filling in the gaps in all these books. But at the end of the day, right, who's gonna pay for it? Right, the people. It's actually really, really messed up. And this is exactly why Bitcoin was created. So now we have finally having the restoration of the Bitcoin narrative. So are you into Bitcoin now?
Of course. I've been putting my money into Bitcoin ever since I've been putting more money in ever since the Credit Suisse incident.
But if you get $1 million for Bitcoin, that's gonna be amazing times.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's happening. There's also another announcement which I find quite funny, which is almost a panic response as well, where a bunch of banks reserves came together and said, "Yep, we're gonna boost money back in the economy." Right? God. So central banks have moved globally to keep credit flowing after an unsettled period in the U.S. banking sector and the Credit Suisse merger. So six banks, including Bank of England, announced they would boost the flow of U.S. dollars through the global financial system. Wow, this is such good phrasing. Boost the flow of U.S. dollars. Right? It's just like a river or something
Yeah.
that needs boosting. Alright, on Sunday, the struggling Credit Suisse was taken over by UBS in the government-backed deal. So they're doing something called the swap line arrangement. Will run from Friday, and in a statement by Bank of England, Bank of Japan, Bank of Canada, European Central Bank, and the Federal Reserve, and the Swiss National Bank, they launched a coordinated action to enhance the provision of liquidity. So what this is really bringing us memories of is what happened at the start of the 2008 financial crisis, which similar arrangements were also made at that time because these banks were running out of money, right? And I think this is in a very dangerous state that we're in. It almost seems to be the case where back in the day it would be every few months we have a major collapse, but now it's like every week, bam, bam. Like we just have to do these live streams every single week. And next week we'll schedule one. We'll be like, next major bank collapse.
Who's next?
Who's next? But it just seems like we can't get a break at this point, and it might even be that the Asian banks might be affected too, because we would be seeing that it started in America, right? America's trying as hard as it can to prevent this. Europe, maybe Japan, Bank of Japan, maybe that could be a possibility, but so far it's in full damage control mode, but I do feel like people are panicking a lot more than I think. And I think they should be panicking
Yes.
too. I think the backdrop of just COVID really messed with people's minds here. So I really hope we'll follow, but we'll definitely schedule a live stream for next week. So once we get that going, we can do that.
Yeah.
So I think you've talked about your segment as well. So I think we'll give Natalie a break. She's it's our first time on live stream. How do you feel, Natalie?
Very nervous.
Very nervous. You remember all your facts?
I'm trying to.
Nice.
Luckily, yeah.
Nice. So if you want to see more of Natalie, she's doing live streams, and I'm trying to help her with live streams. So we can go to the Box Mining testnet. We've been testing content on there. Box Mining testnet. So you can see more of Natalie there. We're trying to do daily news segments in 5 minutes or less. So we'll see when we're trying to work together or to by yourself. But she's been working really, really hard on this content. So
Please subscribe to Box Mining Testnet.
yeah, please do. All right, cool. Thanks, Natalie. So
Thank
let me
you.
carry the next segment.
Thank you, Michael.
Cheers, guys. So yeah, giving guys lots of feedback. I'm trying to expand the group a bit. So I'll just explain to you guys why I'm doing segments with multiple people. It's also to just help me as well, because sometimes during a live stream I need a little bit of a break, and just having someone to talk to really helps, and it just makes sure that I get more content to you guys in a quicker amount of fashion. So yeah, if you guys like it, tell me. If you guys don't like it, it's also very awkward at the start because we never done live streams before. So all right, guys, this is testing new content, breaking new ground, and what I do foresee and why I'm doing this is because I foresee me going online a lot. This banking system, not very great. On that note as well, so we have a few good threads to read on this. So Crypto Squad is starting up. It's another channel that I'm trying to help grow, and they've been offering kind of the summaries of what's happening on Credit Suisse and what's happening on the latest news as well. So if you want infographics about what's happening on the UBS side of things, on the Credit Suisse side of things, and what's happening in the space, make sure you check us out on Twitter as well. I think this was the tweet that's most disturbing. It's the ugliest one too. But this is, hi, you call yourself a good trader? Well, think again, my friend. China banned Bitcoin at 60K in April 2021. Then China let Hong Kong buy Bitcoin at 17K in 2023. Bitcoin is now at 28K. We just need a copy sheet. Oh my god, such a bad tweet, but I can't help it. But guys, markets are definitely moving up in response. So with all that was happening, we actually crossed some very, very key points in the recent few days. So let me zoom in a little bit to see what's happening. So let me put this on the 30-minute chart. So what's very exciting right now, actually, okay. What's very exciting right now is we're at a few very key points right now for the price of Bitcoin, and it's super exciting because we're moving up. Look, 7 days we're up 24%. Oh my God, guys, that is one sign to wake up. Remember, this is Bitcoin going up too. Bitcoin usually never makes big movements, and usually when Bitcoin does make big movements, it does mean that the entire market is going to move up. That's usually how much it works, because just the amount of capital flow in here, it's insane. Now we're at some very, very key points, guys, and I'm eyeing the market very, very closely. In fact, I'm also trading this. So the last time we made a video, which is a very kind of rushed video, we were up here. So we were pushing up almost 26K. All right. Oh, you can't really see that on a candle there, but we pushed up beyond 26K. We just dropped down and bled out over the past few days here. So now we're at a state where we're at 27K. We have a consistent increase in the price of Bitcoin. And we also broke past here, which is 25K. All right, this is a very, very key pivotal point for us, guys. So at this point, if we hold above, so some traders are looking for us to hold above 26K. For me, I'm looking for holding above 25K. If we hold above 25K, that means we have our next point is 30K for the price of Bitcoin. Now, this is going to be crazy. Depending on what happens in the next few weeks and how fast the banking systems collapse, it could be the case that we have a parabolic move up. All right, this is where the 50, or actually not the 50 million, this 1 million argument comes in for the price of Bitcoin. We never reached 1 million, but this is what Bitcoin was designed for. And this is what exactly Balaji is saying on his tweet here. So he isn't a nobody. He is one of the most respected traders in the space, and also a very, very strong investor. And what he talked about recently, let me take the parabolic up. So let me just find a tweet for you guys here. Okay, so this is. All right, this is the tweet. I'll retweets of his tweets, but let's explain here. So Balaji is betting 1 BTC equals to 1 million in 90 days. Not sure about 1 million, but how the world is waking up to the USD scam. During these weeks, I've talked to bankers, lawyers who are smart but trusted the fiat system. Now they're realizing Bitcoin is a true store of value. And he's being very aggressive in pushing this narrative where regulators knew the banks were insolvent but did not notify their depositors. And in many ways, this is why, and I can't explain why why the regulators act so quickly. So with the UBS acquisition of Credit Suisse, normally regulation like that would take like months or years, right? But if they knew what was happening beforehand and were they prepared for this, then that could explain how and why things acted so quickly. So we're going back. So he's going back to the original Bitcoin argument of why we need Bitcoin, why we cannot trust regulators. They lie to us almost consistently. We spent the first half of this episode already translating banker speech into plain English, right? And that's scary, guys. That's scary. So why he's taking a look at and talking about Bitcoin going to $1 million in 90 days is because of hyperinflation. So right now, inflation is controlled. So that's not the scariest part. He's betting that the banks will collapse, causing hyperinflation and causing the US dollar to go to waste. So I definitely believe in this. This is something that we strongly believe in this channel. Well, at least if you're in crypto and Bitcoin, you believe and understand that the fiat system is broken. Personally, I'm going to take my edge on this. Personally, I feel like this is a little bit too fast. I feel like the dominoes are falling, but the banks are trying their hardest to try to hold the line. The same with regulators. They're trying their hardest. They're throwing everything at it. This is the big monster that's coming. It's called reality, right? The reality is coming. It's setting in, but the banks are going to try to throw everything at it to stop reality. And this is the scariest part, right? Because eventually it's going to come. And which is why we're all in Bitcoin to begin with, and why we have holdings in Bitcoin. So my take here All right, pulling back a little bit. I don't believe that 90 days is going to be a million. That's going to be too hyperbolic, but I do believe that we can have a major run. And if you really look at it, at what's happening on Bitcoin, and just zoom out a little bit, we're here, right? We're actually at a pretty good point. So if you look at it, we shot up all the way to 60K before, right? Twice. We tried to break 60K. All right. And we found that we have support at around 15K. And we stayed at 15K for quite a long period of time. Now, the good news is that we are moving up. And it could be the case that if the financial system is in turmoil, that we could get a parabolic growth to 48K and then to 60K. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is just where our supports and resistances are. So we found that there was solid support at 15K. Now, if we prove that there's solid support at 26K, boy, oh boy, these are... It could be that this line is not going to hold, that the bears may not be able to hold 30K and we can go straight up from there, which is why it's a very exciting time to watch Bitcoin. So I do think that 40K to 60K could be possible in 90 days. So I'm not going to say a million, but that's a little bit like newsworthy. It's a newsworthy troll comment, right? But I do believe that 60K could be back on the table if the momentum grows here. And I do see that the scary part is that the banking sector is a lot more fragile than I thought. I thought this week I don't have to make a live stream. Nah, everything's gonna be okay. Nah, no, guys. This market is way too scary for that. So Angela Wang is also hoping for 40 to 60K for Bitcoin. Barry Curran says Patrick Boyle is very good. I actually watch him a lot, actually. He's very funny, sarcastic, and interesting. I'll bring him up there. He also explains what's happening. Patrick Boyle. He's very cynical of crypto. So sometimes I have to stop watching him because he is damn cynical. But his experience is in banking. And he's an experienced banker and he understands all the BS that goes on. So I'll take him for that. And in fact, something I think he just doesn't understand is, Bitcoin, we have a little bit of fun. Bankers don't have any fun in this space, right? I saw him take like some of the largest dump. Like he just shits on NFTs. But at the end of the day, guys, NFTs are just for fun. They're profile pictures for rich crypto people, right? There's no need to take a shit on them. I start to understand. I see this now. So we also have a good question from Carlos Thomas. Says, do you expect alts to pump or after BTC does? Absolutely. Absolutely. The moment Bitcoin moves, the altcoins just explode, right? And this will depeg or will uncoordinate itself from the rest of the tech stocks, right? We've been getting tech stocks and stuff for a while, but once we decouple from that, it's gonna be crazy because think about it, all right? So when it comes to the alts, the alts are much smaller market cap. So if $1 billion moves into an alt, it can double or triple in value, all right? That's how scary it is. But for Bitcoin, it's a drop in the ocean. Bitcoin's a very big market, right? So $1 billion or 100 million, it's not that much, right? But when it comes to these alts, when it comes to the smaller ones, like some of them 400 million, and most of them are not even locked. Especially if you go down to page 2 and page 3. If you're looking at something that's like 100 million or 200 million, then yeah, if there's just not enough coins there for everyone to take, right? So their price volatility, their upside is immense in these times like this. And we've seen this time and time again. Normally what we see, like I said, is Bitcoin moves up and everything else bows down to Bitcoin. Everyone else just drains. Everyone piles into Bitcoin, right? When instability times comes like this. But I do see that this time that people are recognizing that the alts do have something to offer. I mean, heck, Immutable X was up. Conflux is up like 134%. So we're in a season of almost like a merged crypto overall season, right? The momentum is shifting. Alts and Bitcoin are both moving together here. We don't have this strong Bitcoin narrative versus the strong altcoin narrative. I think right now it does feel like the case where both are moving together for once, hand in hand. All right, but I definitely believe there will be a huge altcoin season, which is why I'm also looking aggressively into alt seasons. This also goes very strongly to our next point. Let me bring Ron here and ask him a little bit about airdrops. So let me grab my phone and bring him, because Arbitrum really recently launched, and I see airdrops as a huge way to get into all the alts, because especially if you're into alts. Let me just message him. Especially if you're into alts, I think a lot of people who are like mainly in alts, they got wrecked quite heavily in the last market, which is why these airdrops are attracting so much attention. We got airdrop Ron, come in.
Did
Come in.
somebody say airdrops?
Ooh, we got Ron here. So Ron's been researching for 2 months now.
Yeah, 3.
Three,
Keep saying 2.
3 months. All right, so you've been this whole year you've been working on airdrops.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So he's been aggressively categorized. So he's originally writing role in box mining, but over the last 3 months he's been reading so much in airdrops. I want to bring him on the channel for him to share some insights. So give me the lowdown on what happened with Arbitrum, because like this popped last week. What happened there? How did it go? And what is it? I guess if you want to say, let's start with the basics. How did the airdrops go?
So the airdrops went very well. 625,000 wallet addresses were eligible for the airdrop, according to Nansen. And that accounts for 11% of the total token supply. So there's 10 billion ARB tokens in total, and 1.1 billion goes to the individual wallets. And then I think 45% goes to the DAO treasury, and then the rest of the 44% goes to the team and investors. Now, I think when it comes to layer 2s, 44% is pretty high, right? Because even the founder, Goldfeder, said that it's pretty high compared to Optimism. Optimism has like 36% only for the team. So if you have ARB tokens, you also have to watch out, because they might dump.
Well. Okay. So here's what's happening, right? So I've seen nonstop people posting on Twitter that they got 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 ARB tokens, and they're already OTCing. So because it's not available yet, they're basically selling what they have privately to different people, but the going price is $1 or something. So that's actually pretty good. So if you're been using the network and you transfer some money right now, you're in good shape. You got a few $1,000s to play with.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, and this is at risk. This is without having exposure. You don't have to buy the coin. You just get it for free.
Yeah.
Right. So yet again, it's a case where if you pay attention in crypto, and I looked at the rules here, and this is quite overall the trend and the criteria for this. They aggressively looked at on-chain activity. And one of the reasons why they're doing this airdrop, and if you look at the strategy on the project's perspective, is that they need to make sure that people use Arbitrum.
Yeah.
Right. That's the biggest problem, right? People don't like bridging.
Yeah.
I don't like bridging either. And so just going very, very quickly to the basics of what is Arbitrum. So Arbitrum is another layer 2 solution. And these are really hot these days because people are understanding that it costs way too much to send transactions on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So recently I've been playing on Blur. So even for basic token transfers and swaps, it's costing me around $20 odd to just use the Ethereum mainnet for just a single transaction. So that's a little bit too much, right?
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it's not very affordable. So I've been trying nonstop and Blur on the mainnet of Ethereum, just trading NFTs, collecting JPEGs. That's my thing. But yeah, I'm making a loss right now. So sad. But the biggest problem here was the just cost of overall trading. So people are understanding this, and Ethereum 2.0 won't fully fix that because Ethereum 2, we know that the new upgrade is coming, but Shanghai is not going to improve transaction per second.
Yeah.
Right? Shanghai is mostly to unlock stake tokens. We'll talk about that upcoming videos very soon. But what's happening is that we realize that even with sharding to come in the near future, which Ethereum is going to scale to, it's still not going to be good enough. They need this super highway. All right. So I've always given this analogy that there's needs to be one form. Like say, for example, Ethereum is the road, and then layer 2 is a super highway that's connecting
Yeah.
everything on top. And there's multiple kind of solutions for this. And Arbitrum is probably one of the biggest contenders because they have the most solid tech.
Yeah.
So in terms of the major competitors, we got Optimism, Arbitrum, and we have also Boba.
Yeah.
And people are looking at both security, so how secure is this highway, and how fast does it to get to this highway. If you think about it, to move your funds from Ethereum to Arbitrum, it's almost like taking a lift up, right? And then when you want to exit, you take the lift down.
Yep.
Right.
Correct.
And what people are really eyeing is this process. How seamless is it to move?
Yeah.
And how big is the ecosystem on top? How much money?
Yeah.
So the last I checked for Arbitrum, there's around $3 billion
Yes.
on this network.
Exactly.
It's
pretty big.
it's pretty big.
It's huge.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much money do you have? And Arbitrum definitely has the money. They gave the airdrops out to make sure that people stay on there and have
Yeah.
users.
Yeah.
And then they also have a lot of investors who
Yeah.
are piling into this. So both Chinese and Western investors are really heavy into
Yeah.
Arbitrum. Now, this is good and bad, right? So for a token holder, like Ron was saying earlier, that this team tokens and investor tokens will always be a problem, right? This will drastically affect its price, and then we move things up and down. But if you're airdrop holder, it doesn't.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So the public goes first, and you guys get to dump first too. But at the end of the day, it's definitely something to look at because we are all starting to realize. I think that the overall narrative about Arbitrum is we're all starting to realize that Ethereum by itself, especially if Bitcoin moves to 1 million, right? Like if Ethereum goes to 100K, right? That means transactions will cost thousands of dollars
Yeah.
for a single transaction, right? Because Ethereum prices are paid in ether, right? So if Ethereum prices keeps going up, all right, and the network congestion is even higher, it's going to be even more expensive to do this. So Arbitrum is one of the primary solutions in bundling transactions up between users. Anyone who's on Arbitrum, they bundle these transactions up. They use one single transaction instead of like 1 million transactions. It's kind of like checkpointing what's happening on the network. So that's kind of what's exciting about Arbitrum. Now, there's going to be more opportunities coming up. So if you guys missed out on Arbitrum, first and foremost, there's the airdrops channel on Box Mining, or airdrops tab on Box Mining, where Ron is working on. So tell me what's up. What is like the good airdrops that are popping up right now?
So like you said, layer 2s are definitely being slept on right now, but they're very critical to the future of blockchain. So the biggest, because they are layer 2s, right? They need a token to run on. They need something to facilitate their ecosystem, their transactions, to make things go smoother, and then also to incentivize people to be on the network. So the biggest, if you missed Arbitrum, there is ZK Sync. I would say ZK Sync is next. There's rumors that their mainnet will launch very soon, maybe even next month.
Yeah, I saw the article just getting picked up.
Yeah.
It's like it's got like 10 times more activity now.
It's so much. Yeah.
Alpha leak, guys. So that's number one. ZK Sync is upcoming, and huge amount of interest is building up on this. The other one I would say is on Arbitrum. This is done by some of like what's this one? So Sui is also the next one.
Yeah. Soy as well, it's layer 1, and because Aptos did their airdrop last year, Soy is also very very highly anticipated. This is kind of like a rival thing between Meta. The different teams of Meta. Yeah.
Right. And then the one I was talking about is the next one is ArbSwap. So this one is built on top of Arbitrum. So what I'm seeing here is the possibility of the projects that are building on each ecosystem also giving out airdrops because they need users and activity.
Yeah.
So what Arbitrum is they're basically GameFi optimized DEX. And I know, okay, so full disclosure here, I know anonymously a few of the devs are working super hard on this as well. And I don't know, does that break anything? No. But what they're doing is they're basically building a swap, and they're also providing my MetaMask is so bugged out today. Like I can't switch networks to Arbitrum 1, but they're focusing on both Arbitrum and on Nova. So if you want to check them out, we have a full article on this as well. And if you want to look at the list of articles here as well, you can check out the one on both Arbitrum, Soy, ZK Sync, Starknet. Everything is being covered here.
Yeah.
And I definitely say that if you guys are into crypto right now, and this is my argument, because a few of my richer friends, they were like, why do I want to collect scrap right now sometimes?
Richer than you?
But they're very picky. Some people are very picky. For me, right, I don't mind being I don't mind collecting these airdrops. It's almost like, I think the best analogy I have for this is like when you're playing Mario. You know, you play Mario, you collect the little coins.
Yeah.
Right? You run around collecting little points, and then you power up. Right. Right. And it makes a lot of sense, because not only are you learning whilst doing airdrops, right? But you're also kind of getting that insight into what's gonna happen next.
Yes.
You're finding and discovering the nooks and nannies of the next kind of big thing that's happening within each ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I highly advise you guys, like, not financial advice. Actually, is this financial advice? Okay, this doesn't even count because it's airdrops. But I'll definitely recommend, if you guys are spending some time, take a look, a deeper dive into airdrops.
But I also want to add on to that, like, you can also learn from the process itself. So you notice that these, when they release these airdrops, they actually give a list of criteria. So they don't do that before. They just airdrop it directly to anyone who uses their protocol. But now they have an actual list of airdrop criteria. So the main ones are bridging, transaction frequency, activity, and aggregate value. And the more you do on these, the more you are likely to qualify for the next airdrop. So for ZK Sync, for Soy, it's the same thing. That's what I've learned from this process, from the Arbitrum airdrop.
And they don't tell you. It's not like,
yeah.
so this is the difference between crypto and video games. Because in video games, they guide you through the process,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like tutorial, oh, check 1, check 2, check 3.
Yeah.
Like the thing with airdrops that they tell you at the end. So at the start of your journey, you don't
Yeah.
get step-by-step instructions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have to be on faith alone. And for the longest period of time, I think what was kind of interesting about Arbitrum was that they're telling people we don't have a coin,
Yeah.
right? They're telling people they don't have a coin.
Yeah.
They're telling, oh yeah, we don't have a coin. There's not going to be an airdrop,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's there,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like faith alone, and it's a little bit hard, but I do see that understanding what's in each airdrop, what's part of each network, and then doing those transactions on chain and making sure that you know what's happening. That's like not only the best chance to get you the airdrop, but also the best chance of learning what's there and discovering the biggest like 1000x token inside. I know I laugh when I say this, but it's actually true. You guys know it. Like if you guys were into Binance Smart Chain and you guys got into PancakeSwap, and we'll cover that very, very early, but like you just had to get into every single small projects, and they all started off small, right? Pancake started off like at like a cent or 2 cents or something like that, right? So like Ron's like
Someone we know was very rich off that. You know who?
so there you go. So it is a situation where right now I'm re-spinning up. Ron's really heavy into airdrops now, and then your next coming video, this is something I highly recommend. Tier list.
Yes.
Tell people what they want, and also guys, if you guys have any feedback or what you want to see on airdrops as well, do tell us, because yet again we're in a very crazy time right now. All right, guys. So thank you airdrop Ron. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, guys.
Peace. So we're gonna do last 5 minutes of Q&A to see what is happening. So thank you guys so much for being on this live stream. And of course, if you guys want to check out what's happening and what Ron is working on, Angela Wang just posted the boxmining.com/airdrops, and that is where we are at. Our futures live at Bixmix at 1.77. So I guess OTC is not very far off. So I would say with guys, when it comes to new coins, do be a little bit careful. Generally speaking, it does help to know what's happening, but it helps to also know that there will be dumpers, and this market is still a little bit dump heavy. So I will say that we're still very early on to the markets right now. I would say we're not in full bull market mode. We're at the start of that transition from bearish to bullish. So I will be very, very careful. Not financial advice, of course, but I'll be very, very careful. So I don't see it. So let's just set ARB. Ooh, yes, there we go. Yeah, 1.77. Ooh, not much trade activity though, but very, very interesting to see are being listed on here already. So it's not fully launched yet. The token's not launched yet. They're claiming it soon, but Yeah, yeah, exciting times, guys. Okay, so Starknet's coming up as well. We have all these articles on boxmining.com. So if you want to go through step-by-step guides on how this is done, make sure you check it out. And I definitely see each and every ecosystem also having some crazy activity as well. We were taking a look at Lens, and we're taking a look at what's happening on Polygon Matic. It's actually quite good. So Daniel Osei says we're due for a big alt pump. We are definitely due, and it's a situation where I feel like we wanted this to happen, but it didn't happen in late 2022, and we saw the public understanding crypto, but they didn't fully jump in, which is kind of why Alameda fell, right? So Alameda, they were taking big longs on trading and believing that the bulls a full bull season is gonna come, and it didn't, right? And in many ways, the whole market kind of imploded itself. But that being said, right, if you look at the amount of attention and understanding the public has about crypto now versus say 2017, it's unfathomable how much more the public knows about crypto. The only problem, of course, is that they understood crypto in kind of layman terms, right, for Tom Brady or someone like that. But the key here is this is what's happening on the banking sector is going to teach people what's really broken. It's not that crypto is broken, and it's not that crypto kind of is okay, it is amazing, but it's actually the banking system that's broken, right? It's like it's this knowledge that once I started, and it takes a while, but once you start reading between the lines of what is happening in mainstream media in the banking sector, you'll have no trust in that system. Like I swear to that, you have no freaking trust in that system. You always know they put things in super sugar-coated way where it's everyone knows what was happening beforehand. You know, like I said, it was a start. It's not just about paranoia. You know, I used to not believe all these like conspiracy theories and whatnot, but the problem here isn't about conspiracy theories. It's about how the regulators are working and how they're presented to work. And the formal narrative just doesn't make sense, right? And that's the scary part. So and that's the take home for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I really enjoyed live streaming this episode with you guys. And let's see. Create Program says, Thomas, I've been using GPT to help me audit contracts. It's pretty good, so I see a lot of tokens. Oh, the next video we have coming up on this channel is with GPT and your everyday life. So, man, my God, like last week I was playing nonstop on GPT-4. It's freaking nuts. And there's just so many things going on there. You can do it, and you can use it everywhere. So you can use it to figure out what to eat. You can use it to plan a vacation. You can use it to write a letter, like a formal letter to the government or anything to get yourself out of trouble. It's nuts. The number of applications for GPT is just nuts. So we have a video coming up of GPT-4 in everyday life. So everyday life hacks you can use GPT-4 to do. I'm not gonna spoil everything, but it's just all the things that can improve your life. Then we have another video. I made this routine for myself, not routine, but like I got GPT to decide my schedule, and we're gonna let robots run my life. So artificial intelligence is gonna run my life for a day. We'll see if that goes well or not well. But that video is also coming up. Super excited to make like different content like this. But it's nuts, man. Mind is blown, guys. So also, guys, tell me how you're using GPT. And if you guys were looking at my Twitter this morning, I was like nonstop reposting what people can do with GPT because we're at a point where it's one of those like there's technology innovations every 10 years, right? So if you think about it, right, you have social media, you had the internet, then you have like stuff like Google, social media, then you had the iPhone. These are big like technical innovations that happen every 10 years. And now we have AI, finally, right? We had investments into AI, but AI actually working and producing good results. Right now, it's like finally here. So we're going to cover that immensely because the people who use it, we're gonna win. The people who don't use it, they're gonna get replaced. So talk about carrot and stick for you guys, right? So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a lot more coverage on AI and what's happening in the hot AI projects that's coming up soon. I'm super excited to kind of sort out. I'm still in the process of just sorting out my schedule, so we have the publishing schedule and all the videos consistent. So bear with us whilst this happens. But we're gonna make sure the live streams are well scheduled, and so you know them ahead of time. And yeah, we're gonna collect a bunch of feedback. But those are the two segments we're working on as well. So we got Natalie working on the news segments and Ron working on the airdrop segments. And last but not least, we have WoW Summit coming up in Hong Kong. I know you guys are all talking about the Hong Kong narrative of what's going on in Hong Kong. So next week, that's coming up, we have WoW Summit. So WoW Summit is 29th to 30th of March. So it's coming in and all the Hong Kong agencies are here. So Invest Hong Kong, FinTech Hong Kong, even the Tourism Board, Media and Exhibitions Hong Kong Financial Services Development, Startup Me. So all the Hong Kong guys are here. OKX is sponsoring hardcore because they know they need to win over Hong Kong so that they can win over Greater China. That's part of the plan, guys. So the Asian narrative, the Hong Kong narrative is coming at this crazy time. I'm also speaking at this event about gaming. So two things. So I'm going to give a speech because being in game development before, I feel like there's a lot of potential, but people are being misled. So that's the my talk. We'll hope to be able to feature in this channel. But if you're in Hong Kong, check out my talk. All right, that's coming soon. Let me see if my picture's on there. I think they haven't added my picture on yet. But we did an interview with Bowie Lau as well, who is the co-organizer of the event, and she has a lot of insights about what's happening in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Asian narrative, the Hong Kong pump, the China pump. Everyone's talking about the China pump, but what's important here is we need to know what is happening on the ground level. So that's what our objective is. They haven't put me on the website yet. So anyways, very soon. But yeah, Rob, speech already. Hong Kong narrative is coming in. We're going to show you guys on the ground level what is happening. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you click that like button, subscribe to this channel. We got Thomas Anderson says, I used the knowledge during 2017 pump. Up a quarter BTC of crypto to 5 BTC to end of June until that year. So everyone's moving up. So this is good. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. I know it was a little bit last minute. So guys, if it does help, if this video was fun, interesting, or exciting, make sure you click that like button and make sure you check out what's happening on this channel. Subscribe. Tons of shit happening. And yeah, if you want to see the beta content as well, check out Box Mining Testnet. We're all doing all the fun stuff there, so it's gonna be great. Box mining, testnet. Check that out. Yeah, and with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you next.